Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Gavin and today I am doing my December TBR. November was a bit of a hectic month. I hosted a readathon called Readathon. I'll not get into that now. If you want to know how I did, you can check out my vlogs or you can watch the November wrap-up, which will be coming shortly. I will link it up here once it's been uploaded. But it was interesting. I had a 24 book TBR, which was actually supposed to be 25 book TBR because then I realised there was something else I had to read. But obviously I didn't read them all. So I thought that I would read fuck all in December, thank you and good night. I'm joking. I have a much smaller December TBR. I wasn't going to do any readathons in December, mainly because I just hosted one and I am bloody knackered. But G announced the winter edition of Magical Readathon and oh my god, it looks incredible. So good. There is a website which I will link down below. But you do get to go chapter by chapter. So on December 1st, the first chapter will unlock and you will be able to see what you have to do and the kind of storyline and what you have to go for, and it depends on your picks and your choices. So it just seems so interactive and so brilliant. So I'm going to try and fit all of my books into those. If not, I will try and pick maybe some little children's books every now and then just to fill in any prompts for the Magical Readathon. And with Christmas just being around the corner as well, I really wanted to read some festive books, so I have some festive books on there, but I also have other books on there as well. It's not all going to be a festive month. But I have shortened this TBR just so that I would be able to have a bit more leeway in December. So if I do fancy reading something a little bit more Christmassy during the month, then I will be able to do so. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. I will start with the Christmassy books first. So the first book that I will be reading is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I don't know if I've ever actually read this all the way through before, and I know a lot of people would say this is probably the ultimate Christmas book out there. This is a Victorian novel, so it is a classic now. And I think everybody knows the story of this because it's been adapted so many times. Like, The Muppets Christmas Carol is literally one of the best Christmas movies of all time. Just putting that out there. But I have this beautiful puffin leather-bound edition and oh, I just cannot wait to get into this. I think it will really put me in the mood for December, so I think I might read this one first. It is very short, thank goodness. Thank goodness! So I'll just give you a little bit of a synopsis just to look professional. This is about a man called Scrooge, and one night he is visited by the ghost of a friend who warns him that 3 other ghosts are going to be visiting him during that night. And yeah, I just how come I haven't read this one yet? I genuinely do not know. Maybe I have, but I genuinely can't remember, so this one is going straight to the top of my TBR. So the next book on my TBR is A Boy Called Christmas by Matt Haig. I did start reading this book when it first came out. I think I got about halfway through. For some reason I stopped. I will start back from the beginning, but I am dying to read this one because so many people have been reading it recently on Booktube. So it's been getting some really good reviews, and I really want that magical Christmas feeling, and I know this one's going to give it to me. From what I remember, there's a young boy and he goes after his father, who I think he goes missing when he goes on this expedition. So the boy goes after him. I think that's correct, I think. I didn't do my research. And there isn't actually a summary on here. So I'm interested to see why people have been loving this so much lately. I just think it's going to be so perfect. Next, I want to read Skipping Christmas by John Grisham. I absolutely love the movie Christmas with the Cranks, and this is the book that it's based on. Yeah, this is the one that stars Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis. What it's about is Luther and Nora Crank, they always celebrate Christmas, but one year their daughter has gone away, so they decide to skip Christmas and spend the money that they would use on Christmas to go on vacation. If this is anything like the movie, I know I'm going to love this, and it's short-ish, so I think I will get through this really well. It's going to put me in such a mood. I watch Christmas with the Cranks every Christmas Eve, along with the Polar Express, and I just love it so much, so I really hope the book is just as good. The last Christmassy book that I want to read is It Won't Be Christmas Without You by Beth Reekles, and Beth Reekles is the author of The Kissing Booth, and I think this is going to be like a really heartfelt, cliched, Hallmark Christmas book, and I am here for it. I absolutely love those movies. I want this to be cliche. I want this to have all of the Christmas feels. I want the romance. I just want it all. So I think this will be perfect for that. It's actually Beth's first foray into adult fiction, so it's not YA, but this does follow 2 twin sisters, actually, and they both have their own lives. One of them is organising a school nativity play, and the other one plans to work over Christmas. But I think there's going to be some hot men on the horizon for these twin sisters, I hope. Like, that's just what I need right now. So, and again, it's another short Christmas book. In fact, I think all of my Christmas books are short. Having the short books, I'm just going to have a festive fucking Christmas. The next book I'm going to read is Frozen Journey to the Light. This came out a few years ago, and I was supposed to read it like ASAP because obviously I love Frozen. But this one follows obviously our beloved characters from Frozen. They are going to the Northern Lights for a ceremony for Grandpappy, the leader of the trolls. And unfortunately, the Northern Lights and Grandpappy and the whole ceremony thing is nowhere to be found. So they go on this like little adventure. But I don't know. Of course I'm going to have to read this one, aren't I? Frozen 2 has come out recently, and obviously I've been obsessed since it came out. So I'm holding on to Frozen as long as possible. It's not going to be festive, but it's going to have that wintry atmosphere, which I really enjoy. And, you know, it's Frozen. I'm going to love it. And on the topic of Frozen, I will be reading Frozen 2, Forest of Shadows by Camila Benko. And this one apparently bridges the gap between Frozen and Frozen 2. So Elsa is supposed to go on a tour after her coronation, but there is a sickness that strikes Arendelle, and Anna tries to cure it with a magic spell she finds in the castle, but it instead brings her nightmare of a wolf to life. So Anna, Elsa and the gang travel into the unknown to find a cure for the illness and to stop this nightmare wolf. And it's like a proper story as well. It's not a novelization, nothing like that. It's just a genuine between Frozen and Frozen 2 adventure. And I am here for it so much. I was going to read it for Believeathon, but it just wouldn't fit into my TBR, as you well know. But I'm going to be able to read it in December, and I am genuinely so excited. I cannot wait to go back into the Arendelle world. Oh, it's just going to be so Frozen in December. I do want to read Orphans of the Tide by Strew and Murray as well. This book comes out in February 2020. This is an advanced reading copy, but this is a middle grade that is described as Brightstorm meets His Dark Materials. And I'm struggling to summarize this, so I'm just going to read the blurb to you. Story time! When a mysterious boy washes in with the tide, the citizens believe he's the enemy. The god who drowned the world come again to cause untold chaos. Only Ellie, a fearless young inventor living in a workshop cramped with curiosities, believes he's innocent. But the enemy can take possession of any human body, and the ruthless Inquisition are determined to destroy it forever. To save the boy, Ellie must prove who he really is, even if that means revealing her own dangerous secret. I am genuinely so interested in this. This was kindly sent to me from Puffin, and with it coming out in February, I do want to at least attempt to read it in December. I'm trying to read as many of my arcs as possible before they're released, otherwise what was the point at all? This has already been getting some good reviews on Twitter from early readers, so I am hyped. And because His Dark Materials is currently airing on BBC, I want to get to The Subtle Knife by Philip Pullman. I recently read Northern Lights for the first time and really enjoyed that, so I'm excited to dive back into Lyra's world. So I can't really describe His Dark Materials that well, so it's set in a world where everybody has a demon and it's like their human soul, but in demon form kind of thing, and it can change appearance until a certain age. And we follow a young girl called Lyra who goes on this adventure to save her friend from the Snatchers. Is that what they were called? The Snatchers? Sorry, it's been a while. And, no, the Gobblers. Gobblers? I think it was the Gobblers. See, I need to catch up with the show as well. I'm behind. So, yeah, this one follows on from Northern Lights, or The Golden Compass, I think it's called in America. So I do want to try and at least read the entire His Dark Materials and the Book of Dust series, but I definitely won't get that all read by the end of 2019, so that will probably be a 2020 goal. But I haven't really heard much about how the second one is, so I don't know if it's good or not, but I'm sure it is. I'm sure the entire His Dark Materials series is great. So one book that I am definitely carrying over from my November TBR is The Mime Order by Samantha Shannon. I am reading this for the Bonathon live show, which is going to be on Saturday the 7th of December, so make sure you check in. I think it will be at 9 PM. But as of filming this, I'm only 50 pages in, so I'm definitely not getting it finished in November. And that's fine, like, when do I ever finish anything on time? But this one is book 2 in the Bone Season series, so I don't really want to tell you what this one's about because it's a sequel, but it is in a sort of dystopian world where clairvoyance exists, but it's outlawed. So our main character, Paige, she is a clairvoyant. She is able to go into the dreamscape. Yeah, a lot of drama happened in the first book. So from the 50 pages I've read of this, it's been really good so far. So this will actually be my top priority, this one and A Christmas Carol, to read, like, ASAP. I've got to get them read. And finally, my most anticipated release of 2019, and I've heard some mixed things about this one. It is The Toll by Neil Shusterman. I'm going to be buddy reading this with my very good friend Becca. I can't believe we've never buddy read anything before. But this is the third book in the Arc of a Scythe series, and oh, I've been loving them so much. I only discovered them this year because of Becca. So being able to buddy read the last book with her is just, oh, it's perfect. Like, absolutely perfect. It's going to be such a bittersweet conclusion. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this, but obviously I want to make my own opinions about this book. So you'll know what this one's about, but it is set in a world where we have conquered death and we have professional scythes who glean people. That is a brief little summary of what it is. And yeah, this is the final book, so I'm going to cry. So this is my 10 book TBR, which is not bad at all considering how big my November TBR was. And I'm so excited for December. I'm so excited for these books so much. And of course, I'll be watching all the Christmas movies in between these as well. So that was my December TBR. Please let me know what you're going to be reading in December. Let me know if you have any great Christmas favorites that I should read. Please leave a little like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you very soon. Bye.